Hey everyone, the name is Erik Thor, and in today's video we're talking about Stoicism for INFPs and how Stoicism can help you as an INFP achieve a higher level of emotional intelligence. Contrary to popular belief, Stoicism is not about shutting down emotions, but rather about letting them express themselves and letting them have their voice heard. And so Stoicism can be completely compatible with the INFP state of mind. Stoicism rather fosters us how to deal with and how to relate to and how to express and experience our emotions. And so stoical thinkers like Marcus Aurelius would say, if you do feel like crying, cry. And so these are not bad things. These are not things that we need to feel bad about. They are not signs of weakness. And in fact, they can be a sign of strength. Now, Stoicism, or what I like to call vulnerable Stoicism, is really then about letting ourselves have feelings, letting ourselves feel weak, letting ourselves feel bad, but then to be strong anyways, right? And this in itself is a very radical form of thinking because it recognizes that, hey, I feel anxious, but I'm going to be confident anyways. I feel weak, but I'm going to be strong anyways. I feel sad, but I'm going to try to push on anyways. Like learning to do these kind of things and learning to think about these things also teaches us that our emotions, they're meant to guide motion. And so emotions are a strength, they're not a weakness. People who don't have emotions don't even know how to get out of bed in the morning. Emotions are what empower us to take action. Emotions drive and inform our actions. They help us recognize what is important. They help us recognize when we should grieve. They help us know when we should feel happy. They help us know when we should feel sad. They help us know when we should feel angry. And by giving us this kind of information, they alert us to what it is that we need to do. They alert us and show us the way forward. They show, hey, you're afraid right now. You're terrified. You're shaking. So you need to be alert. You need to be attentive. You need to react quickly. You need to be direct. You need to pay attention to what's happening around you, right? Because that's what these emotions do. They are information that inform our actions, and so through every single feeling that you have as an INFP, you can take smarter actions that guide you to a better future and a better tomorrow. Emotional intelligence is the result of learning to react to and recognize your experiences to different situations. And a common thought that you need to have whenever you have feelings and emotions about something, whenever you do feel sad, is recognize, why do I feel sad? Why do I have this experience? Why do I associate this person? Why do I get angry around this person? Why do I have these kinds of instincts when I'm talking to this person? Why do I feel that way when I'm in this situation? Why do I feel that way about my work? Why do I not like to do the dishes? Why do I not like to get out, clean my bed? Why do I not like to do these kind of things, right? So by learning to recognize that, hey, I built up these kinds of associations to a certain kind of activity, and that causes me to take a certain form of action. For example, perhaps these kinds of feelings cause you to procrastinate on chores and important things that you know you should be doing, that you know are important to do, right? And so you might recognize, what caused me to have these kinds of associations? Perhaps, for example, this procrastination, these feelings are associations that you had based on how you were raised as a kid. Perhaps your parents constantly pressured you to do your chores, and so perhaps you learn to associate it with anger and annoyance and frustration because they were constantly pushing you to do it. And perhaps procrastination was the strategy by which you resisted these kinds of activities, right? Perhaps it was your way of rebellion, because perhaps instead of telling them outright no, you just tell them, I'll do it later. And perhaps by doing that, they couldn't really be angry with you because you said you were doing it later, right? So why are they upset? Even if you're not going to do it later, like this very act of procrastination can feel like a survival strategy and a coping strategy for many INFPs that feel that they have been forced into a situation, cornered into a situation. But now you're in your adulthood. And the question is, are these feelings still valid? You're alone at home. You don't have any parents hanging over you telling you what to do or how to engage with your life. So why are you still procrastinating? Why are you still resisting? Often, it turns out INFPs have internalized the voice of their parents telling them, once again, negatively, critically, why are you not doing this? Why you need to do this? You need to be like that, right? Like this kind of voice, this nagging voice that you've internalized, that you keep telling yourself. So you keep talking to yourself in the voice of your parents because your body remembers how they sound like and what they do and what they did, right? And so it's in you. And the question is then, how do you relate to it? How do you deal with that? And how do you experience it, right? Stoicism often tells us to surrender to a certain act and a certain state and a certain feeling, right? So there is a form of accepting our lot in life, accepting our situation, accepting where we are, accepting how we feel, accepting what we do, and pushing through and prevailing. And so a lot of the time, the ideals of Stoicism align with the ideal or the archetype of the hero. The hero being the strong and confident person, the dominant person, the tough person, right? And the truth is, every single person is the hero of their own life. You are the protagonist of your own story. You are the person that's driving your life, that's making you go where you need to go. And so to get into a hero state is to get into a flow state, and it's to get in touch with your cognitive functions and with yourself. Every single personality type can be a hero. The INFP hero, just as the ESTJ hero, or the INFJ hero, or the ESTP hero. Every single person is the hero of their own life in their own way and has their own main quest to go on and their own things that they need to do and confront. And so, are you going to be capable of confronting these things? Are you going to be capable of doing these things? Are you going to take care of your own life and face your own challenges and your own struggles, fight your own dragons, fight your own battles, right? Or are you going to, rebel and resist and say no and avoid it, right? Well, if you do say no to it, if you do avoid it, recognize that, well, most heroes do say no to it at first. But eventually they realize that they have to rise. Eventually they can't say no to the call to action. Eventually they have to accept it. Eventually they have to face the fight. So the question is, how long are you going to wait? Stoicism as a manual for how to deal with these things. I recommend reading Marcus Aurelius' book on the topic of Stoicism. He was a person born into a very difficult lot in life. He had to be what I would call the president of Rome, but they didn't have presidents. Yeah, he had to lead them in a very tough time when they were pressured from many fronts and when they had a lot of problems, corruption and issues. And he had to face a lot of battles and a lot of war and a lot of hardship that he didn't really necessarily want to face and experience. And he lost his father early in life and had to be raised from a young age alone without a father figure, right? And so he was pushed in a situation where he could have easily just given up and said, I'm not going to do this. It's too much. I can't handle it. It's too many problems. I don't know how to deal with this. I was never, I'm not fit for this, right? But he didn't. And, whenever he felt like he was too weak or too bad or not good enough, he would accept that feeling. And he would say, like, yeah, I don't know this. The truth is, I don't know how to battle. I don't know anything about war. I don't know anything about economics. And so what he would do was he'd ask somebody for help. And that's something that I think INFPs can benefit from a lot. Realizing that if you don't know how to do something, you can ask for help. That's a completely fair thing to do. You can ask for allies, supporters, and most people will rally towards you because INFPs have this modest nature, like in Taoism, they say that all rivers flow to the lowest point, right? So in many ways, like as an INFP, you're going to find that people are going to want to help you, want to support you, want to lift you up, want to be around you because they are drawn to you, because they recognize you, they see you as a point of refuge, a point of peace, a point of balance, and they feel through being around you, they feel like they are being empowered and that they are able to be more confident in themselves and that they are able to be more confident, because INFPs tend to be quite good at taking on and listening to the advice of other people. INFPs, don't be afraid to reach out for consultants, outside professionals, people around you that can support you in whatever it is that you need to do and can help you out with your goals. Because, hey, that's a sign of strength in itself to admit that I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. And we all need help. And we're all emotional sometimes. We all feel bad sometimes. We all have bad days. Days when we don't want to get out of bed. Days when we don't really want to do anything, right? But hey, there's always help at Hogwarts for those who are prepared to ask for it, right? Thank you so much for watching and see you all in the next video.